Okay, great. So welcome everyone. This is the College of Engineering General Meeting, Alumni Network General Meeting. We are going to start our agenda with Pablo Trejo, who is the sitting chair for the network. He will give you some information regarding the network and upcoming initiatives that are upcoming. Pablo, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. Hi, Jessica. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Let me introduce myself. My name is Pablo Antonio Trejo. I am a graduate of the class of 2000 with a bachelor's in science and electrical engineering. I am employed by Lockheed Martin in Fort Worth. It is the first job that I've had coming out of college. I just completed my 21st year with Lockheed. I do work in a government facility, so unfortunately, I'm not able to share my video with you today. So I apologize for that. I am pursuing permission to be able to do so. I do have a master's from the University of Texas at Arlington, also in electrical engineering. I've been involved with the engineering alumni since about 2008. Back then, the alumni started getting organized as a chapter of the Alumni Association. That organization had a set of chapter bylaws that were distributed and approved by the membership. The leadership team of the chapter was about, I don't know, there was 8 to 10 of us that were really active in it. We had monthly meetings, and we had a really good and ambitious agenda that it focused on a couple of areas in the College of Engineering chapter, alumni chapter. I served as a treasurer, as a secretary, as the committee chair for the recognition and awards committee. So there's a lot of history that I'm carrying back when I was involved in the early years of that chapter. In two, in about 2014, we were able to roll out a program from the chapter into the College of Engineering that focused on recognizing the top engineering seniors. And so the intent was to try and find some candidates that would then feed into the university's top 10 seniors. We never quite made it to the goal of identifying and nominating candidates, but we got as far as recognizing some very competent and very deserving seniors. And so it was a way for the alumni to engage and connect with existing students and also to promote the graduates of the graduating class. So that program ran for a couple of years. And then in the changing of the leadership of the chapter, we ran into some issues in that it did demand a pretty good amount of time, and there was change at the college as well in terms of the personnel that we relied on for a lot of support at the college. There was a change in the dean, so a lot of things happened, and the chapter ended up going dormant. And so around that time, I was introduced to Jessica and Liliana, and my main objective was to maintain and carry that history. Um, the the rules that were set aside in the bylaws that governed the chapter, they were strict in terms of almost like a board of directors at a company. It required reports, it required elections and nominations. And if you all have been involved in a lot of volunteer organizations, especially small ones, you'll recognize that it's challenging to try and find people to nominate and who are um, I'd say motivated to run a campaign, a competitive campaign at that, toward leadership positions. And so in maintaining contact with the Office of Alumni Relations back then is what it was called. Um, I accepted the role of almost acting president, more so just a point of contact that wanted to make sure that there was continuity from the established College of Engineering alumni chapter to whatever organization we thought would be able to move the organization forward. And so it was in about 2018, I'd say, that uh, we really took some steps to transition the chapter from the College of Engineering alumni chapter to the College of Engineering alumni network. And that transition was not unique just to the College of Engineering chapter. Several of the other groups of alumni that um, exist in the university were also encouraged to transition to a network that had a set of guidelines that were a lot more friendly to the operations of the group and would allow the turnover in leadership to be addressed more readily and hopefully maintain the momentum of the work performed by the sitting, uh, let's say by interested alumni that wanted to be involved with the university. So that pretty much brings us up to where we are now. I am the sitting chair of the College of Engineering Alumni Network, which we are. I've been working on the guidelines that govern the network with the Office of Institutional Advancement, which is where Liliana and Jessica function out of in terms of the university structure, employment structure, I should say. And so, you know, I have been working not only with Jessica, there's Jonathan Tavares, who's another alumni who's very passionate, as I'm sure you all are. And he brought forth the idea to lead a mentorship program. And so we've been working on that for in about the COVID era, since about the COVID era. So we've been working through that, trying to have a plan that we can execute in conjunction with the College of Engineering. So that's where we are now. Jessica, I'm ready to transition over to Gabby Gandala if he's on the meeting and ready to go.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to present a little bit of background regarding some of the terms that Pablo is using in regards to UTEP. Institutional advancement, for example, is now where the Office of Alumni Relations, we are now completely under institutional advancement. And so what that means is that we share an office with them. We share overarching goals. So we're no longer sort of a silo in regard to our alumni and the ways that we interact with them. We have several networks. Engineering network is one of our academic networks and one of our more active and sort of prominent networks. As you all know, engineering is a very important college at UTEP, so it's held with a higher regard. So the time that I've had at the Alumni Association and within institutional advancement, I've been working with Pablo on changing, as he mentioned, the chapter to a network, and that allowed for a more sort of lenient framework for how the network runs. And when I say a network, what that means is we do have groups of alumni who come together, whether that be special interest. And one of those examples is our UTEP Black alumni, our UTEP Pride alumni network. We have geographical, so we have folks in Dallas, Fort Worth alumni network, we have Houston alumni network, and then we have our academic networks. And College of Engineering is one of those, and the other is our social work alumni network. And so what we try really hard to do with our academic networks is to really put them in contact and in conjunction, working in conjunction with their colleges. So that's where Gabby comes in, the associate dean of the College of Engineering. And so that's a little bit of background on our networks. I don't know if anyone has any questions about any of that. But I did put in the chat the alumni.utep.edu so that you all can review all of our networks that are available. Also, Gabby is not yet on the call, so I'm going to go ahead and show some of the graphics that he sent me that he wanted to talk about. Let me pull this up for you all.
Okay, yeah, while you're getting that up, Jessica, I will say that one of the items that I included in the agenda was to get a briefing from Gabby Gandala on the upcoming TCM celebration. Having gone to UTEP, I'm sure you all are familiar with what TCM was like when we went through it. It has had some evolution to what they do now for TCM. And so I thought it would be helpful to have him come in and show us what the TCM celebration looks like now.
Yeah, he did, like I said, he did send me some of those graphics. So let me share. And Pablo, you can probably speak to this a little more as I'm not an engineering alum. But he did send me this graphic regarding TCM Day and some of the activities that are happening. So there's a team mining challenge. Make your team of 5 to tackle 10 mental and physical obstacles that stretch over 2 kilometers of the UTEP campus that will get you miner dirty. And then there are different options for that.
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about this here, Jessica.
Yes.
This team mining challenge has taken the place of, I guess if you want to think of it, the hazing part of TCM that used to occur decades ago. In the interaction I've had with the alumni, some of those alumni are from 1960 and earlier. So some of our elder alumni remember TCM being a lot harsher than some of the younger alumni may remember. But it was around 2011 or 2012 that there was a concerted effort with the university to make TCM more of a whole university, whole celebration versus just focused on the College of Engineering. Also, I think there were some issues with the way some students were being treated. I guess they weren't appreciative of some of the methods by which they were being initiated into the College of Engineering, as TCM did for many, many years. And so this was one of the areas that that was a compromise, I think, that included input from the engineering alumni. And that was, they wanted to maintain some of the grittiness, some of the dirtiness. And so that's why on this team mining challenge, you see that they talk about, let me see, the mental and the physical obstacles that get you miner dirty. So it's a way of earning your cloverleaf and your green card while filtering out some of the things that seemed inappropriate or put the students' health at risk. So that's where this team mining challenge comes in.
Pablo, we did have a question from Maribel. I'm not sure.
Sure, you can unmute Maribel.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you all. My name is Maribel Herrera. I am a UTEP alumni from the College of Engineering. I graduated from electrical engineering for my bachelor's, and then I have a master's in computer engineering, and I graduated in fall 2020. So I did want to mention that I did do TCM several years, and it is quite different than what Pablo was mentioning. My brother, he graduated also from UTEP, but he's like 9 years older than I am. So I know what Pablo's talking about, because when I talked to him and I told him that there was this TCM, he said that before it used to be kind of like the engineering college kind of bragging of, oh yeah, we're the engineers and we're the miners, you know? And so, but nowadays is quite different. Anybody could join. And as David asked, when I did it in 2000, what was it, 17, 18, and 19, we still went to do the whitewashing of the M. And I really suggest, if anybody wants to do it, that you do it. It's pretty cool. It's an obstacle course. You get to, as I said, the whitewashing, and then you have to go through mud. In some of the cases, you have to find certain things. You have to going through like a little mine, and you have to light up a light bulb and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I do encourage it. I just wanted to mention that it's quite different nowadays. And yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Maribel.
Thank you.
We have another question.
Yes. Are they still whitewashing the M? Pablo, do you want to answer, or do you want me to answer?
Well, I don't know if they're doing that this year. You can go ahead and answer if you have that that information.
So I don't have that information regarding 2022, but they have continued to do it up until now. So I'm assuming that they will be doing it this year.
Back when I was involved with the engineering chapter, that we were approached with, we were approached by the university with a desire to change what TCM looked like, and they wanted to hear from the engineering alumni. You know, we had a broad spectrum of alumni, like I said, dating back to the 50s and 60s, and at the time, the 2010s, early in the 2010s. And so one of the things that was very important across the board to all the alumni was the whitewashing of the M. So I'd be very surprised if that has gone away. Maribel mentioned that in 2017, they were still doing it. Not sure what may have happened during the last 2 years because of COVID. But if it went away because of COVID, I think this alumni network would be instrumental in lobbying to bring it back. So I think that's one of the roles that we hope for the Alumni Engineering Network to play, and that is to advise the college on the things that are important to the alumni. I know I can speak about my TCM experience in 2004. I think is when I went through TCM after I had graduated. So like Maribel mentioned, it is open to alumni, not just to students, but they had us clean the road, I guess, in front of Old Main with no, in fact, there was a clover leaf that was painted, I guess, somewhere in what is now Centennial Plaza. There used to be a road that went through Centennial Plaza. There was a big clover leaf that was painted on there, and we had to clean it and brush it with a toothbrush. And so as we were looking to involve TCM Day, that's where some of the physical obstacles and the mental obstacles or the mental activity came in. And I'm happy to see that it has been sustained throughout the years since that meeting, because I remember very particular. That was one of the suggestions that was made, was how about an engineering activity, whether it's building something, and Maribel mentioned creating a circuit to light up a light bulb. Those things were important to the alumni, to have an engineering connection to the activities, as well as the physical obstacles, which is a tie back to the physical hardships that some of our older alumni had to endure when they went through it.
That's awesome, Pablo. Can I proceed to the bean feed? I know Gabby wanted to mention that, and they need participants in that. Can
Yes, go ahead.
Share that. Okay. Stop sharing and then go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
So do they still give, this is David Camarillo. I graduated back in 1993, or actually 97, but I went through TCM in 93. So, and I actually participated with Gabby Gandala. So me and Gabby know each other from a long time ago. And also from, you know, we both went to graduate school at the College of Business when we got our MBA. So I am familiar with Mr. Gandala. And I was just curious if they still hand out the cards for, you know, the association regarding TCM and stuff.
That's a good question that Gabby would have the answer to. I don't know. I have my green card from when I went. I don't remember from the meeting that I'm referencing back in the mid or early teens whether there was a strong desire to maintain the passing out of the green cards. So I don't know. I would hope that they would. Maribel, did you receive a green card when you went through TCM in 17?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I did 2017, 2018, and 2019. And I probably still have one, but I did do get the green card every year.
Okay, great. Thank you. So again, I'd be surprised if they haven't followed through.
Oh, wow. I need to
with all
find
of
mine,
those.
David. You're
Yeah,
on mute. You're on mute.
So I just have mine on my degree over here. So it's just one of the things that, you know, I have it on there. I mean, it's kept since 93, you know, look at it's all.
Yeah. Fantastic. I have mine. I know exactly where it is, but I don't have it on me. I don't carry it on me because I don't want it to fray. I don't want it to tear apart. So I have it in a safe place.
I can understand.
Yeah. Okay. Jessica,
Yeah.
will you go ahead and tell us about the bean feed?
Yeah, so I was passed this information on by Gabby Gandara, and he asked that we encourage alumni to sign up. He was going to be on the call, so I'm not sure what happened, but he asked that I share these two graphics, and this one is regarding the bean feed. Again, I'm not a College of Engineering person, so it's a little foreign, language for me. But Friday, March 11, 2022, in the Engineering Breezeway, the bean feed will be happening, and then there is the link. I can put that in the chat for you all to be able to access a little more easy. But yeah, that's all the information I have. I just have very logistical information.
Okay, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the TCM activity, down in the Engineering Breezeway, what is between the classroom building and the old engineering building, I'm not sure what they use that building for now, but they would set up tables and they would feed the alumni as they would come in. And what was it? There was something that would happen there at the Arroyo. A handshake with St. Pat. Something happened. There was something special that happened down there, and then all the students and participants of TCM would get fed. And this makes me think that they would get fed beans. But the last time I participated in TCM as an alumni, that I went to this lunch. I mean, it turns out to be a lunch. I think there was sandwiches, maybe brisket sandwich. There was something more than just beans. So they may have just kept the name Bean Feed. But it is open to all alumni and green card holders to come by and enjoy the celebration with the students that just went through TCM. Gabby Gandala was in the lobby, and I've just let him in. So Gabby, can you hear us? He, I pushed the button to admit him into the meeting.
Yeah, he's in. I think he's still connecting. Gabby, can you hear
Yes.
us? Awesome.
Okay.
So we were just going over your TCM graphics. I don't know, we kind of, Pablo went into deep memory lane. So I don't know if you want to, Gabby, if you want to go over this a little more, or I don't know if you feel comfortable with, you know, Pablo's explanation.
Well, we can start with some questions that we got, Gabby, that I think you have the answer to. One of the questions was whether the whitewashing of the M is still a part of TCM and whether it'll be a part of this year's TCM activity.
Yes. So first of all, I'm sorry, guys. We had a Dean's Forum today and it just finished. But I am going to pull up my screen because I need some details. So Jessica, you look like you're in a dorm room and you look like a college student.
What do you need from me? What do I help you with?
I need to get into my files, but we are having the traditional things we've done in the past is the whitewashing of the M.
Do you still pass out green cards?
Oh, we don't just pass them out. We people earn them, Pablo.
Thank you for correcting me. That's right.
So, I come from a long line of people like Keith Fong. And Keith would say, you know what, Gabby, not everybody can get a green card. You just got to have that something special. So, I used to hope we would get 300 people to come out to TCM. If we get 100, those are the best motivated and spirited minors I can think of. So there's the green card. So I'm allowed in the meeting, right?
Yes, you're allowed.
But I can, I'm just going to move my screen over so I can. Sorry for the technical problems here. Let's see your files.
In the chat, I did put the graphics that Gabby provided. So it's the team mining challenge and then the bean feed graphics for you all to review.
So tcm.utep.edu is our website. And we have a general schedule of events, but I can go through them. And I think, or do you want me to just answer the questions, Pablo? The first one was the whitewashing of the M. That's from 10:45 to 11:45 on Sunbowl Drive. That will happen.
Okay. Yeah, if you can answer the questions,
Okay.
I referenced the evolution of TCM and how in the early 2010s we had a meeting that spoke about the Dr. Natalicio's desire to open up TCM to the entire university and make it a university-wide celebration. And we talked about how some of the events and activities evolved. And so we were looking at the agenda, the graphic that Jessica put up on TCM and kind of went through a little bit of that.
Okay. Did you have another question?
No, I just got a question regarding sharing David's email. I'm going to ask him first, and then what I can do is I can set up a contact email for all the folks that joined today, and then introduce you guys to one another, and then go from there. Because the ultimate goal of the meeting is to gather leadership members for the network. I know Pablo will talk about that and the roles that are vacant at the moment. But yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute.
Gabby, how you doing with your graphics?
Good.
Yeah,
You
you're
want
ready?
me-
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and go through the schedule events, and that way everyone can get an idea of how the day progresses.
So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
This is not necessarily a graphic, but the breakdown of what's happening from 8:30, which is the first column, to 9 o'clock. We call it the green registration. People that didn't sign up through JobMine or well, JobMine, that's where we're asking people. We're going to meet at the Union Cinema, and we're using the hashtag UTEP TCM Day as a tracking for anybody that signs up. It's $10. Between 8:30 and 9 at that same time, people will enter the cinema and start learning the traditional St. Patrick's song and cadence. St. Pat will make her intro right after the welcome between 9:15 and 9:25. And if you guys look at, there's a lot of notes here. If you notice, there's a lot of stuff in gray on that first column. That's something new that we've been doing for the last 7 years, is every time students get to that part of TCM, they'll get a sticker on their helmet. And if you get all those stickers, then you'll get your TCM green card at the end of the day. So songs and TCM photo, we're doing that on Centennial Plaza. Some people might have remembered this. We used to do the TCM at the Sun Bowl and take a picture of students using their bodies to make a giant TCM. We're not doing the serenading of the president at 10:30 anymore. That actually got moved to be during the bean feed at 12:45 down here. But we're still gonna go to the Sun Bowl and take a break, do the whitewashing of the M. Those of you who aren't aware, we have an endowment sponsored by the APOs. That's not the current Alpha Phi Omegas. Those are the defunct. Those of you who know Willie Quinn, him and his group. And if you don't know, Willie is the last sole survivor of that generation. And the endowment has grown to the point where they used to sponsor 3 students at $250. Now we're hitting 6 students at close to $5,000, if not more. So those awards go to students that are just doing spectacular stuff in the college, community service type of activities. And then there's the team mining challenge from 12:30 to 1:35. And then the bean feed kind of overlaps. And the reason is because we do waves of students. We'll do about 25 students at a time. So 5 teams of 5. And let them hit the race. And then 10 minutes later, we do another 5 teams until we finish all the teams that are participating. And whoever finished first, they get to eat first. And we hope they stick around, because that's when we're hoping to get all participants to serenade the president. And Jessica, something that I was meaning to get out to you all was, how do we concentrate on how we get alumni involved? So this is the larger picture of scheduling, but getting feedback from alumni, we find that most of them are not going to do the team mining challenge. Most of them wouldn't, they just wouldn't mind just coming and eating. So the bean feed, there's a link, and I think I shared that flyer, I believe. So I'm working with Alejandrina Morton. She'll get you guys some parking passes. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of walk, but we'll have lunch at the Engineering Breezeway.
Yeah, I
Thank
think that if we can coordinate on sending that to our alumni database that we have, that would be awesome. Like sending that graphic out and then letting folks know that parking can be handled via the college. I think that's a big concern that alumni have obviously coming back in. But I think we can assist with that for sure.
Cool. Do
Yeah,
I need
thank
to
you.
do anything? You have the flyer, so
I have the flyer. Yeah, I can initiate all of that, and then whatever information I need, I'll check in with you.
okay.
Yeah, thank you, Gabby. The question you posed about how to get alumni involved, that's really what we're trying to do here through the network. It is one of the areas we're trying to focus in, trying to get some more interaction between the alumni and the planners of TCM for not just activity the day of TCM, but also to help provide ideas on the planning overall with TCM. So not for this year, obviously, but going forward, that's where the alumni would like to be involved in helping the office have a more fun and safe TCM.
And Pablo, if you don't mind me interjecting, one of the things, there was two alumni, Servando Hernandez
Yeah, survey.
and Brad Rowe, right? Bradley.
Yes.
They helped out, especially Brad. These guys were the old timers. And when we tried to move TCM from the traditional hazing event that it was to something that we can keep for decades to come.
Yes.
Brad was, man, he was the devil's advocate. He bashed every idea that didn't sound like hazing. But it was really good because we were going to encounter that from alumni anyways, right? They
Yes.
were going to say that's not the TCM I went through. And we're hoping, folks, I don't know if you guys saw the mining challenge.
Yes.
CEA, Ruben Chavez specifically wants to challenge alumni to come out, and he wants students to beat his team. He has a team that he's pulling together. But something he didn't put in there is that I know at least two of the people do triathlons that are in that that are on that alumni team. That if you can beat him, he'll give the team $100. So I just think that's great. And because one of the other things is I've been the sole source to get external funding to pay for TCM and have pushed the dean, even though we've opened it up to everybody at the university. I pushed the deans for the last, I would say, 7 years to just pay for everything. But I think that's something if we can pull into alumni, especially things, prices are going up with everything, with COVID. I was lucky that we had a lot of leftover orange helmets from last year, but that'll be a big challenge in the coming years.
And that's a good collaboration between what we're trying to do with institutional advancement and our alumni is to give back to the university. So if that's an initiative like a TCM Day fund with engineers, that would be amazing. And as Pablo was saying, that's where this comes into play. That's where this network, the importance of this network comes into play. We have such a strong engineering history and we need a network that represents that. So
yeah. And that's part of why we're trying to focus the alumni on some key focus areas. Jessica, can you bring up the agenda? Gabby, do you have anything else to share about TCM before I go on to the next agenda item?
No, I think that's what I was hoping to report out is that you guys are all welcome to come have lunch. And hopefully a week's notice isn't too bad. I think in a lot of respects, TCM is still student driven and done at the 11th hour. So
yeah,
just Well, we'll be in touch and see how we can coordinate initiating alumni contact with TCM Day Promotions. And then also gathering TCM funding could be an option for our network. So we'll figure something out.
Yeah. And I think one idea that comes to mind, Gabby, with regards to fundraising for TCM borrows from a lot of the tactics that I've seen for a golf tournament, right? So we can offer the opportunity to put a shamrock on a flag somewhere out on TCM with the alumni's name on it, right, for a $50 donation. I mean, we can do themes like that so that the alumni can feel a part of TCM, especially those that are out of town, right? So it's a way for them to remain involved, and it allows us to raise money and in the partnership with the alumni, the College of Engineering Alumni Network and Institutional Advancement, and our Facebook feeds and our social media. We can start that campaign at the beginning of the school year and try and raise money to help you, like you're saying, run TCM. I mean, we can ask people to buy the helmet, right? And we put their name on it and hand it to, we can hand it to the participants.
That is cool. I like that. That's the helmet. Pablo, I don't know if you have heard this with any other alumni. If you went to the TCM before 2014, people remember painting the green lines?
Yes.
Well, people have bugged me and are like, are we going to do that again? And the only answer I can say is that we have a beautiful campus now. And I don't want to be the instigator to ruin it.
There's not a parking lot in the middle anymore?
Right. But we can find something maybe where you buy a brick. I think the Plaza Theater did this. You buy a tile with your name on it, but maybe we can buy a green brick and we lay it in front of the engineering building somewhere, right? And this is the new line of bricks that are pulling alumni together or something like that,
So those are the types of ideas that I hope to come out of the TCM committee. Cool. Part of our network. So thank you, Gabby, for joining us. Continuing with the agenda here is where I'm going to talk about the focus areas. So again, tying back some of the work that was done early on in the establishment of the alumni chapter, right? Some of the things that were a focus were having a speakers bureau. That was one of the ideas that we really tried to develop, and it took a lot of work and it took a lot of effort. And in the end, we didn't have the assets and the resources necessary to really execute on the vision that we had. But the idea is still good, and that is having a list of alumni that are willing to speak to students, and that administrators, the college, the dean, individual schools within the college can reach out and say, we need someone with a background in certain engineering discipline to come out and talk to our students. And so the idea is that the administrator would reach out to the network and say, I need someone with this background. Well, our network would have gone out to the alumni. We would have established a database of engineers out in the field with specialties, with experience, willing to talk to the students. And so that was the main idea behind the Speakers Bureau. And so we're keeping that, we're trying to keep that as part of the mentorship program. So that's one of the focus areas that we're going to have. Another one of the focus areas is TCM. Obviously, as we've been talking about, we need a committee that is passionate about TCM, wants to continue with having input on the evolution of TCM and honoring what TCM was as we take it into the future. So that's another one of the big committees that we always saw was important to um, the engagement of alumni. Um, the third area of focus is the Top Engineering Seniors Award, as I mentioned earlier. I think we had about a 3-year span where we did uh, acknowledge and recognize engineering students from across all of the engineering schools. Um, since I was heading that committee, I can give you details on how we went about uh, recognizing those people and selecting the students. And it was important to me for that recognition to not just be academic, but it looked into service to the community, service to the university. So if you had someone pursuing an engineering degree that was also a cheerleader, or that played football, or that was in the band, or participated somewhere else in the university, right? That uh, enhanced and um, was involved in other aspects of the university student government, right there. So that played a factor into identifying that person as a top engineering senior. Again, it was important for me not to limit the amount of people that could be recognized either, right? So it was an open number. There's no set number that had to be met every year, but there was a evaluation process which included their academics, involvement with the university, involvement with the community, um, the survey or the list of information that was available for each of those individuals was evaluated by alumni. So that was how we try to make that fair. We had multiple alumni review the applications for each candidate. And then when we looked at the statistics of how they scored overall, in the 3 years that I did it, there was a clear line in the scores where you could say, you know, people above this score uh, were a good chunk away from everybody else. And so that's where the line was drawn. And those above the line were recognized as top engineering seniors. So that's, you know, another one of the focus areas that I would like to pursue, revive, and get going again. Not only revive it, but find a way to transition it to the university so that it's sustainable and they're able to run it, and the involvement from the alumni it is not required at such a high rate. So they'd be able to maintain it year after year, whether involvement from the alumni network or alumni is low, that program would still be allowed to proceed. And then the fourth area of focus is the homecoming breakfast. Like TCM, it's one of the largest gatherings of alumni throughout the year. Some alumni make it a point to go every year. Some alumni have never been back to it, but it's in their mind that one day they want to go partake. So maintaining that engineering breakfast for homecoming is paramount to the focus of our alumni network. And so I see that each one of these 4 focus areas, right? And again, not to spread ourselves too thin, but each one of these focus areas requires a committee to help lead it, communicate with resources at the College of Engineering, at the university, with Jessica and Liliana. Um, my role and the role of the chair is just to keep track of it and answer, you know, high level programmatic questions with regards to uh, whether there's any obstacles preventing something that the committee wants to do from happening. So Jessica, do you have the structure of the committees so we can see how we've developed that?
Yes, let me pull that up for you.
Um, I can go off the top of my head on some of them. I'm looking at my watch and seeing that we're coming close to the top of the hour. Um, so as you would expect, there is a chair to kind of oversee the entire network. There's a vice chair that is in place to help the chair. There's a secretary to kind of keep notes and keep a schedule and make sure things are happening and being recorded. There's a communications chair that would understand how to work with Jessica, who to communicate with in order to communicate out to the alumni. I envision this person would also be in charge of overseeing the social media communications for the chapter, for the network. I'm sorry, for the network. They would work with Jessica on gaining access, understanding what they can share, just working that aspect of it. There would be a finance chair that would keep an eye over the finances, the money being raised, the account for the network, um, and then the mentorship chair, who oversees the mentoring program. Right now, Jonathan Tavares is the one holding that position. And then there's the top engineering seniors chair. And I think there's 8 and 9, Jessica, if you'll scroll down a bit, which would be the committee chairs. Oh, there's one more chair responsible for homecoming and TCM. So those are the leadership positions. Um, this document that Jessica is going through will be available for you all if you wish to look at it. It describes the terms of service, what kind of commitment you're giving, the way it's been structured. The executive, I say executive, the chair and the vice chair are asked for a longer commitment than the other committees. The reason for that is to make sure that there is continuity from leader to leader. In my experience, a commitment of 1 to 2 years is much too short. I really have a long-term plan, long-term vision in mind, and a minimum of 3 years, I think, is what's required to maintain momentum and be able to manage and transition turnover in leadership positions. This document does have responsibilities for each of the positions listed. I think the main point I want to highlight here is that it's not a system that's based on elections. I understand that the, we're all volunteers, even me as the chair, I'm a volunteer. I'm not an employee of the university. They don't pay me. So there's a very distinct line between the employees of the university, uh, Jessica, Gabby, Liliana, all of them do work for the university, and the leadership and members of the alumni networks are not. And so there's certain things because of that status that we cannot do, and in some cases bring liability onto the university that is not desired. And so because of that, there are some limitations. One of the things we've run into in the last couple of years is the idea of mentoring, and whether one-on-one mentoring can occur because of the liability involved with having a bad experience when the student's having a bad experience, or I should say the threat of a student having a bad experience. It makes sense that the university should maintain the students' health and safety paramount above everything. So within the mentorship focus area, that's one of the things that we've had to work around. And that is no one-on-one mentoring, but the mentorship program is intended to have alumni in a group with the university faculty and representatives present, to act as a buffer and to maintain the health and safety of the students paramount above everything. So, again, it's one of the challenges that we've met, but we're excited to work within these boundaries, and all of the all the effort and the passion that you all can bring is what we're looking for. So I don't expect anyone to sign up on site, but this was meant to be an information session for you all to understand where we are and where we're trying to go. So, but with that said, I'm gonna open up for questions.
I guess I have a question. Thank you, Pablo. I think, I was trying to see how I can contribute, as an alumni of UTEP. I think maybe the mentorship program might be a good idea. I've actually given some talks in the past at UTEP, for engineering students. It's been a while since I got graduated. So I got my bachelor's in metallurgical and materials engineering and master's at UTEP. So 2007 and 2009. And then went ahead and got a PhD in nuclear engineering from University of Idaho. I don't live in the area anymore, but if we can do it virtually, I would be more than willing to donate time and, just volunteer for talks and just kind of outreach to students and kind of sharing kind of my experience academically and professionally, and, try to motivate, these new generations to kind of pursue an engineering degree and to maybe a graduate degree, in engineering. And yeah, I'm open to supporting the cause as always. And yeah, just let me know how I can be of help, guys. I know we are all very busy, but I think this is a good cause, and I'm willing to devote some of my time to it, and just for the good of the art and the engineering, and just trying to push the new generations of engineers forward. So yeah, count me in.
Clemente, thank you very much, and congratulations on all your accomplishments. I know we all went through our own struggles, so yeah, thank you for calling in today. I appreciate you. I wrote down your name. I'll send it over to my goodness, I forgot his name, to Jonathan Tavares, letting him know that you're interested in mentorship, and he can give you a rundown of what that program is going to look like, and we'll find a place for you.
Wonderful. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm wondering if Miguel has any comments or questions or suggestions.
Hi, are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'll just give you a little background about myself. My name's Miguel Venegas. I graduated from UTEP with a degree in mechanical engineering in 2020. I'm currently working as a project manager for El Paso Water, working with water and wastewater systems. So yeah, I'm just here to contribute to my time back to university, and volunteer and give back to the university that I love, and yeah, whatever capacity that may take, I'm willing to help out wherever possible. Again, I'm still I'm trying to see where I best fit in, trying to fit in this like organization, or how to contribute my time. But anything really, just let me know, and I can definitely help out wherever is needed. But yeah, I guess the thing is, to me, I never went to TCM day for whatever reason. I just wasn't interested during my years in college, and I really regret not going at least one time during my 5 years there. But
Go now as an alum.
What's that?
Go now as an alum.
Yeah, well, as an alum, I would really like to, contribute and, take part in TCM Day, or engineering breakfast and do all the things that I wasn't able to do, and help out again as some sort of a mentor as well to other students as needed. So again, when I'm here and available, whatever you guys need it. So yeah, just let me know.
Thank you, Miguel.
Pablo, we are at 6:07, so I just want to let you guys know that we will follow up with an email. The meeting will be available to view at a later time. I will provide a recap of the meeting and ways to continue to stay engaged and continue to stay involved and in communication with the engineering network. But Pablo, did you have anything else to add?
Yes, the last thing I have to add is that this meeting today is meant to be a kickoff, really a kickoff for the broad involvement of the Engineering Alumni Network. So expect these meetings to occur more regularly. We may not be at a monthly pace just yet, but the intent is to have these meetings regularly.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, if you all can keep an eye out on that correspondence, and we'll continue to include you. And hopefully you all can give some of your energy and time to the network and back to the university.
If you haven't joined MinorLink and have an account on MinorLink, please use that. That's how we, the Office of Institutional Advancement, make sure that your information is current. It's a Facebook type of platform that you can communicate with other alumni. So it's a really good platform to be a part of, and it is going to be a requirement for having one of the leadership positions. So just a plug for MinorLink.
Thank you, Pablo. Okay, well, we can conclude. And again, please keep an eye out for correspondence. Thank you all for your time so much, and we will be in touch.
Thank you, everybody. Go Miners, Aaron, go
Thank you,
Broad.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.